2025 is almost here, and if you haven't been thinking about how to close this year with financial power, then you're already falling behind. But don't worry, it's not too late. What if I told you there's still time to unlock the wealth mindset that'll leave you ready to crush 2025? Stick around for these 10 game-changing money tips that'll not only help you survive, but thrive as the year wraps up. And hey, don't scroll away just yet. You're going to want to hear tip number 8, trust me, it could change everything. Tip number 1. Review your financial situation. Now, let's get real. Before we talk about how to make more money, we need to know where we're standing right now. Think of this as the financial equivalent of a health checkup. Go through your bank accounts, credit card statements, and investments. I know, it might seem overwhelming. But here's the truth, ignoring it won't make it disappear, and pretending it's fine is costing you. Is your spending aligned with your goals? Are you leaving money on the table? Time to take a clear-eyed look and take control, because the clock is ticking. You can't build the future you want if you're not crystal clear on where you're starting from. Speaking of building, let's talk about one of the best investments you can make right now. Tip number 2. Maximize retirement contributions before the year ends. Listen, I get it. Retirement feels so far away, right? But guess what? The earlier you start, the faster you'll get ahead. And right now, before the year ends, you have a window to max out your contributions. If you're employed, use that 401k match. It's basically free money. No match at your job. Open an IRA. Even small contributions now will snowball over time. You don't want to be the person 5 years from now kicking themselves for not starting sooner. Speaking of kicking yourself, here's a scary thought. How many times have you let a little extra interest sneak past you because you ignored your debt? Let's fix that. Tip number 3. Tackle high-interest debt head-on. Interest is a sneaky villain. It hides, grows in the shadows, and eventually crushes your financial freedom. Credit card debt is the most obvious culprit, but it's not the only one. Personal loans, payday loans, all the same story. Here's your mission. Pay off the highest interest debt first. Get that monkey off your back so it doesn't keep stealing your money. But here's the kicker. If you don't tackle it now, the debt will follow you into the next year, growing like a snowball of regret. Now that we've taken a sledgehammer to debt, it's time to talk about generating wealth without constantly working harder. Tip number 4. Start an emergency fund today. Okay, I know, the words emergency fund might sound like the worst party guests ever. But they're the ones you want to invite into your financial life. When the unexpected happens, and trust me, it will, an emergency fund is your financial armor. Ideally, you want 3-6 months worth of expenses saved up. If that sounds impossible, start small. Even $500 can be your shield against life's curveballs. Speaking of unexpected expenses, I've got something that could boost your income while you sleep, if you set it up right now. Tip number 5. Invest in passive income streams. We all know the hustle. But here's the secret, hustling forever doesn't lead to true wealth. Passive income is what separates the millionaires from the grinders. Start exploring options like stocks, real estate, or even side businesses that earn money while you sleep. I'm talking about dividends, royalties, or renting out property on Airbnb. Let's face it, you can only work 24 hours in a day, but passive income, it works 24/7. Speaking of making your money work for you, if you're not using this next strategy, you might as well be throwing cash out the window. Tip number 6. Cut unnecessary expenses. Think about this. How much are you spending on subscriptions you never use? It's crazy how those small charges sneak up on you, and by small, I mean big when combined. It could be streaming services, gym memberships, or that fancy coffee you buy every morning. Cutting out these expenses is the easiest way to free up cash and redirect it toward your financial goals. It might sting in the short term, but in the long run, you'll be thanking yourself. Now, speaking of redirecting money, what if I told you there's a way to boost your income using your skills and expertise? Stick around. Tip number 7. Monetize your skills. Are you underestimating your talents? Because the world is hungry for what you've got. Whether it's freelance work, teaching, consulting, or creating digital products, monetizing your skills is one of the quickest ways to increase your income. And here's the best part. You can start now. Tap into platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, or even launch a small online business. Don't let 2025 come and go without taking advantage of what you already know. And speaking of things you already know, here's a tip that could literally set you up for financial freedom if you start implementing it now. You don't want to miss this. Tip number 8. Automate your savings. Picture this. You're sitting on the couch, watching Netflix, when suddenly, ping, you get a notification, $100 deposited into your savings. How'd that happen? You automated it. Set up automatic transfers to your savings, investments, and retirement accounts, so you're consistently building wealth, without even thinking about it. Procrastination doesn't stand a chance when your savings are on autopilot. But there's one more thing that can take your savings game to the next level, and no, it's not another credit card. It's something most people overlook. Tip number 9. Optimize your tax strategy. Here's a question that should keep you up at night. Are you overpaying on your taxes? There are tons of legal ways to reduce your tax burden, like contributing more to retirement funds or leveraging tax deductions you might not even know exist. I'm not saying you should become a tax expert overnight, but talking to a professional could mean thousands of dollars back in your pocket. Remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And finally, let's talk about the mindset that will truly push you to make these tips stick. Tip number 10. Adopt a wealth-building mindset. This is where it all comes together. It's easy to set financial goals, but it's a whole other thing to truly embody a wealth-building mindset. It's about being intentional with your money, having the discipline to say no to short-term temptations, and the confidence to invest in your future. Start thinking like someone who already has wealth, and you'll start acting like it. And there you have it, 10 tips to end the year strong and set yourself up for financial freedom in 2025. But here's the catch, success doesn't happen overnight. It's the little steps you take now that will make all the difference. So, what are you waiting for? Go make these changes today, and watch how your future self thanks you. Remember, financial freedom is a mindset, and you've just unlocked it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because your journey to wealth has just begun.